So this right here is the Galaxy Note 10, and this is the phone that I've been using for about a month now. And it is the inferior or smaller brother to the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. And that's because the Note 10 Plus packs everything in it. Now, the main reason that I went with this one is because this is a 6.3-inch display, while the Galaxy Note 10 Plus is a 6.8-inch display, and I think that's just way too big for a phone. Yes, it has a few things that are inferior to the Note 10 Plus. For instance, the Note 10 Plus has the better display, it has bigger battery, it's got expandable storage, there's also some sensors on the back like time of flight for the camera. So there's a few things that are better just on the Note 10 Plus in compared to the Note 10. But in this video, I want to share with you guys my experience with the Note 10 and to let you know whether those things that it lacks really affected my day-to-day use, and then maybe make a case for who I think this phone is really for. Okay, so we're going to start things off with the design, and the Galaxy Note 10 and the Galaxy Note 10 Plus look exactly the same. The only difference is that they have one has a 6.3-inch display, while the other one has a 6.8-inch display. And then when you talk about the actual footprint of the phone in terms of dimensions and how big they are physically, the Galaxy Note 10 is 151 millimeters by 71.8 millimeters, while the Galaxy Note 10 Plus is 162 millimeters by 77.2 millimeters. Now, I don't really pay much attention to the height of the phone because there are shortcuts in the software where you can just pull down the notification tray from anywhere on your display, but I definitely pay attention to the width, and that 71.8 millimeters versus 77.2 millimeters honestly is a big difference, and it can sometimes make it really difficult for you to use the phone with one hand, and that was one of the reasons that I ended up going with the smaller phone. Now, another thing that is difference between the Galaxy Note 10 and the Note 10 Plus is the fact that the Note 10 Plus has expandable storage where the Note 10 doesn't have it. Now, this particular one that I have is 128 gigabits of storage, and honestly, I haven't even used much of it. And that's because a lot of the stuff that we use nowadays, there is cloud storage. For instance, with my Google Photos, all the pictures that I take are backed up to my storage. So if my phone actually gets kind of full, or I feel like it's getting full, I can just delete it, and then everything will be easy for me to access from Google Photos. So I feel like storage nowadays is really not that big of a deal when you're talking about the average person, unless you're somebody that downloads a ton of movies and wants to watch it offline, or a ton of TV shows, whether it's from Netflix or Hulu, or just side loading videos into your phone, then honestly, you're really not going to need more than 128 gigs, especially with all the cloud storage that we have at our disposal these days. Other than that, physically, they're exactly the same. The power button, the volume rockers have all shifted to the left-hand side, and I don't really like it, but it wasn't a big deal. It took me about a week to get used to it, and then after that, now I just know where it is. The fingerprint scanner is right in the middle, and it's a little bit faster than the Galaxy S series phones. It's not incredibly faster where I'm gonna tell you to go get rid of your S10 phones and get the Note 10 phones, but it is a little bit faster. And then there is no headphone jack on the bottom, but I'm all right with that because now I have a bunch of headphones that are Bluetooth and that are wireless. So it's almost 2020, and I think that is just the direction that we're going in it. So everybody needs to just, I guess, get on board. Plus, nowadays there's a lot of wireless Bluetooth headphones that are becoming like better priced. They're not overpriced, and I think there's a few of them that are under $100, which is a really good deal. So I have no issues with that. The last physical difference between the Note 10 and the Note 10 Plus is the little sensors on the back next to the camera, the time of flight sensors. And I'm gonna talk about the camera later on in the video, and I'll let you know whether that really affected my camera usage. So to me, I think the biggest difference between the Galaxy Note 10 and the Note 10 Plus is the display. So this one right here is a 1080p display, and the Note 10 is a 1440p display. So if you hold these phones side by side, then absolutely you're gonna be able to tell the difference. Now, even if I hold this phone next to my Galaxy S10, you're gonna be able to tell the difference. But if you're just using this as your main phone, as your daily phone, then you're definitely not going to be able to tell that it's bad bad display, because even though it's 1080p, you gotta understand that Samsung makes one of the best displays out there, regardless whether it's 1440 or 1080p. And over my use of about a month now, I haven't really noticed any issues, and I watch videos perfectly fine. The phone gets bright enough in outdoors during the day. I have no issues with that, and there isn't anything that really made me miss like a 1440p display. And I have gone back and forth between the Galaxy S10 and the Note 10, and it's not such a game changer where I'm gonna tell you that, oh no, that 1440p is a big deal. However, I will tell you what's a big deal. So I have used the OnePlus 7 Pro in the past. I've actually done a whole video on it. If you guys wanna see that, I'll leave it linked right up here or down below in the description, right below that like button. But it's the 90 hertz refresh rate. Now, if you've used a phone with 90 hertz refresh rate, you can tell when you go back to a phone that's not. I really do wish Samsung had put that on the Note phones, especially the Note phones, because that was already introduced with the OnePlus 7 Pro, and now it's the second part of 2019. And we all know that the Galaxy Note phones have always been the pack everything in these phones, throw everything in everything but the kitchen sink into these phones, even features that people don't like, and we'll just see what sticks. And these are just gonna be the phone that have everything possible out there. At least that's what they've been from the beginning of the Note series. But then this year, you can tell that they didn't go all out, and then you can tell that with the Note 10, they actually stripped it down some in order to make room for the Note 10 Plus. So overall, this is a fantastic phone. There isn't anything in the Galaxy Note 10 Plus that's not in 10 that makes me say, oh man, I need to go get the 10 Plus. Like getting a 6.3-inch display with this beautiful design that fits all in the palm of your hands with the S Pen. So, you know, that's fantastic. And this thing is just like the one in Note 10 Plus. It's still got its little magical wand movement things that I have never used, but it's there for the people that want to use it. Now, I have used it to sign a few PDFs or just make some marks on screenshots that I want to put on Twitter and Instagram whenever I'm sharing stuff with you guys. So it comes in handy, but overall, I haven't had any issues with it, and I have been enjoying it. Now, the last two things that I really want to touch on is the battery life and the camera. So in terms of battery life, it's pretty good. I can get a full day or about 80% of a day if I'm using it really heavy. And I think that really has a lot to do with the display right here, because the battery on it is extremely similar to the one from the Galaxy S10. This is, I believe, 3,500 milliamps, and that one was 3,400 milliamps, but I'm able to go a lot longer with the Galaxy Note 10. I'm still getting 4 to 5 hours. Here's some screenshots of my averages of a few of the days of my phone, and I don't have a problem with the battery life. Okay, so the final thing, let's talk about the camera. And there's 3 on the back, and you have the front selfie camera. The front selfie camera, I don't really have much to say about it. I've used it a few times just to see how it would perform. It performs extremely well outside in bright lit areas right here where I have studio lights. It's okay in the dark, but overall, it's pretty good. And it's got 2 modes, regular and then wide angle, even though it's just one camera. So it's pretty good, and it gets selfie pictures. Like I said, I'm not really into taking selfies. Now, the other 3 cameras. So you have the standard camera, you have the wide angle camera, and then you have the telephoto. And I have used the standard focal length and the telephoto, and I really like both of them. Now for the wide angle, it's a hit or miss. I don't really like the quality that comes out of that wide angle. Now, I have taken pictures where I'm testing the camera, of course, and I've taken same picture with 3 different cameras, the 3 different cameras in the phone, and you can always almost tell the difference between the other 2 cameras and the wide angle. Here are some sample photos, and you guys go ahead and judge for yourself. But overall, I think the camera is good. It's got great dynamic range. It doesn't overexpose the highlights, and then it doesn't also crush the shadows, and it does a pretty good job. And you could still use manual mode or pro mode to adjust it. Now, it also has very nice details, sharpness is there throughout the whole sensor and throughout the whole picture. And then you also know that Samsung phones always have very high saturated, and sometimes I feel like they oversaturate the pictures. But honestly, using this phone for about a month, I really got used to that. And then having this nice display, it just all comes together, and there isn't really anything to complain about these cameras other than the fact that the wide angle sometimes can miss. So you got to be careful with that. But when it does hit and it hits it right, those pictures look fantastic and they come out amazing because you have all this information and all these details on whatever is in front of you. So I really do like the Galaxy Note 10, and I don't think the sacrifices that Samsung purposely put on this phone in order to create the Note 10 Plus are any downfalls. Like I said, the biggest concern to me was that display, and the display is something that you get used to really quick. So I don't have any problems with the phone or the display. Anyway, let me know if there's anything about this phone that you feel like was just too much or a deal breaker for you that Samsung did in order to create that Note 10 space down below in the comment section, and we'll have a chat about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If it's first time to my channel, definitely consider subscribing. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Until then, stay plugged.